everybody, my name is Tanya and today we're going to talk about TBR jars. So a little while ago I got a request to do a video about my TBR jars, which is something that I've been intending to do for a while, and I have a new jar that I have to create, so I thought I'd do not really a tutorial because there's not all that much to what I do, but show you how I put together my TBR jars and then show you the TBR jars that I already have. So around this time last year I got TBR Jar obsessed and I went mad creating multiple TBR jars for different types of things. So I've got quite a few to show you today. But the new one that I have to create is for the BookTube Recommends project that I'm doing next year, and I'm filming this before filming a video about that because I want to have the TBR jar for it when I film that video, but it'll be going up before this one. So by the time that this goes up, you'll hopefully have seen my video about my BookTube Recommends project. And this is the process to create that TBR jar. So there are quite a few good tutorials out there from different people who have created TBR jars. This is just the way that I have made my particular ones. So let's get started. So for the jars, you of course can pick anything that you want, but I just pick up one of these small little jars, candy kind of jars from one of my local homeware stores, and I like these particular ones. So this is the end product that we're aiming for. This is one that I made last year and it's got a few little things in the bottom there. This is for a particular list which I'm still intending to film a video about at some point in time. It just hasn't happened at this point, but these are the books that I have left on the 30 books you must read before age 30 list that I'm working through. I've got a few years yet before I have to tick off the rest of these, but I would like to start making some more progress in them. So here's another way of deciding which one of those I'm going to read next. Because I like looking at the TBR jars and I think that they make a nice statement piece. Wherever they're placed around, I like to make them a little bit prettier. So what I've done for paper is one of my local craft stores have these packs of what is actually origami paper, and so they're in just little squares and they're patterned on one side, and I think they make a really nice effect for the TBR jar. So this is a pack of those, and what I do is just cut them into strips, so you know, all very obvious stuff, but we've got one of these little slices just to chop them all into bits. And here's some I prepared earlier. This is leftover stuff from the last round of TBR jar making I had, so that was a year ago, and so I've just cut it all into little strips to write the names on. Like I eat any more TBR jars, you'll see them later, but I'm excited to get this one made. So I'm just going to make up all of my bits of paper and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so that should be my 12 little bits of paper. So when it comes to actually folding the bits of paper to put them in the TBR jar, I like to concertina them because I think it looks pretty. And let's face it, that's what the TBR jar is all about. So let's pop them in. So that was a really bad job as the first one, but basically I like to concertina them like this and then blink them in, and that just looks nice. Okie dokie. So then because I've got so many TBR jars, I like to label them. So I've got some just little packs of labels from a local craft store. And then to tie it on with, I've got a big old mess of raffia here, but if we can manage to get something out. I like to try a knot around it just to make it sit out from the jar. Just like that. Okay. And there we have it, a new little TBR jar for my BookTube Recommends project. That is not at all in focus. Moving on to my actual TBR jars that I have, I've obviously got this new one that I've just created for my BookTube Recommends project. There's the other little one that I mentioned earlier that's got the books from the 30 before 30 list. I've also got this jar here which is called Tanya's Shortlist, and this was a whole bunch of books that I decided I wanted to read sooner rather than later that didn't necessarily fit into various other lists, but things that were bothering me that I hadn't read. And as I mentioned in my Booktubeathon, Xmas Booktubeathon videos, I have only actually drawn once out of this jar this year, which isn't a really good strike rate, although as I mentioned in there are some in here that I've read for other reasons. So I can see the Iliad and the Odyssey is in here. I did read the Odyssey this year, but not the Iliad yet. Also things like Black Beauty's in here, and Charlotte's Web and Watership Down, which are all things that I read for Read Kids Lit in November. And Wolfskin and Fox Mask by Juliet Miller, I see that here too, so I might fish that out while I can, because I read those this year as well. Done. 100 Cats Who Changed Civilization is done. Black Beauty is done. I haven't looked in here for so long, I've kind of forgotten some of the stuff that was on my shortlist. Watchmen by Ellen Moore that I read during the Booktubeathon in July for the book with pictures in it, so I'm doing alright actually. Let's just tip this all out and go through. Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, also read this one. I think I drew that out of a different TBR jar. Charlotte's Web, Watership Down, The Once and Future King by T.H. White. I read that for the BookTube Reading Buddies last month. So for all that I managed to only draw one thing out of my shortlist last year, I did happen to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more things out of there just by doing. So I'm pretty impressed with that actually, not feeling so bad after all. I just didn't use the TBR jar to do with it. Okay, so let's go see my other TBR jars. Okay, so I've shown these briefly in another video at some point in time. I can't quite remember now what video it was that I gave a glimpse of these, but this is where my other TBR jars generally sit. So over here we have a Tanya's 1001 audiobooks. This is all the books that I have that are on the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list that we own in audio form. And as you can see, there are a lot of things in there. Moving across to this caddy, this is also to do with the 1000 list. Because I've owned so many books that are from that 1000 list, I've actually broken it up into centuries. And just because I, wanted to have a use for this caddy and divide it in some way, I've broken it up to centuries. So on this side, we've got the books from the 2000s, the 1900s, and the 1800s from the 1000 list. And on the back here, we've got things from the 1700s, the pre-1700s, and then this is a short list of authors that have 5 or more books on the list, but I've not actually read anything by them yet. And so there's a few authors in there now. I can't remember what the actual amount is, but these all sit in this little caddy here, and they're all 1001 related. Last but not least, we have this big boy over here, and this is Tanya's non-1001 books to read. And so basically this is the remainder of everything that I own. Yep, so I'm not actually sure how many things are in here, but it's a lot. And basically this covers everything that isn't in that caddy that we own, but is a 1000 book. This is everything else that we own, not a 1000 book. And there's a lot in there. And I haven't actually drawn anything from this jar, which is very naughty of me. I have drawn quite a few things from the caddy this past year, and I've drawn lots of stuff from the audiobook one. Most of my audiobook listening this year has been decided by that jar, but this one I've not been in yet. I have read books that we own that are not on the 1000 list, so as with the shortlist little jar that I have there, there'll be some stuff in here that I have read that I'll draw out one day and go, nope, that's a bonus one that I've already achieved. But I'm not going to tip that one out and go through and find them because there won't be that many. That basically covers all of the TBR jars that I have, and it's a lot, and I'm a little bit obsessive, but it goes well with that. It appeals to that side of my nature. It's kind of like a gigantic list, but it's a mystery list, so I do really enjoy drawing from the TBR jars, and hopefully I can use them, or at least the ones that I didn't use last year, a little bit more regularly this year. So I think I'll leave it there. If you have any further questions about any of my TBR jars, do let me know. But I hope you've enjoyed this video and a little look at my analness. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!